Good day and welcome to Lightning Path New Moon Zoom call number 20. This is a kind of a redo of this presentation. We had computer problems at the last new moon when the previous meeting took place. And I've managed to surmount the obstacles and get back in the saddle. So we've got a new computer and a whole new interface. So without further ado, we'll launch into an overview of the tools used on the lightning path. Now, for the past 50 years, much of my inner work has focused on the amalgamation of a handful of diverse spiritual teachings from around the world. Of particular importance to me has been humanistic astrology, the I Ching, the Mayan Tzolkin calendar, and the chakra system. In the following pages, I share with you a brief overview of the nature and purpose of these tools, as well as examples of how I've brought them to bear in my own life as of Lightning Path Moon Cycle 13 Lamat. So throughout my writings about the Lightning Path, I refer to universal archetypes from sources such as the Sabian symbols, or from Dane Rudhyar's overarching concept of the seed person. These archetypes serve as guiding principles and sources of inspiration for individuals on their spiritual journey. The fundamental principle of the lightning path is the recognition of the interconnectedness of all life and consciousness. It underscores the idea that everything is interconnected, and understanding these connections is vital for both personal and collective growth. I encourage individuals to live in harmony and respect with themselves, with others, and with the world around them. Attuned as it is to the phases of the moon, the lightning path actively promotes a sense of balance and alignment with the natural flow of life. I view human existence as an evolutionary journey, with individuals progressing through various stages of awareness and development. I offer guidance on how to navigate these stages and make conscious choices to advance spiritually. I believe in the importance of making spiritual knowledge accessible to all. That's why I've chosen to offer my writings and artistry and videos freely on my Lightning Path website, as well as on my YouTube and BitChute video channels. Now, Lightning Path astrology, a quote from Dane Rudhyar, one of the great granddaddies of modern astrology. Astrology is a language. If you understand the language, the sky speaks to you. So Dane Rudhyar, born in 1895 and devoted over 50 years of his life to the reformulation of astrology for the modern era. He's considered to be the founder of humanistic, person-centered astrology. Rudhyar viewed the natal birth chart as a dynamic tool for personal growth, emphasizing evolutionary purpose, psychological dynamics, and the integration of opposites. He believed in transcending traditional fatalism, seeing the chart as a guide for conscious participation in one's own evolution. Now, myself, as founder of the Lightning Path approach to astrology, I maintain that there are as many astrologies as there are astrologers. And so when it comes to my own astrology, it has its own particular history. It has its roots in different traditions. But ultimately, it's here now to be used in the current era. And this is an era of synthesis. And I've embraced that notion. And from within the humanistic, person-centered approach to astrology pioneered by Dane Rudhyar during the 20th century, I have extracted a number of tools particularly well suited to fulfilling my 21st century role as a manifester of the eternally recurring Mesoamerican myth of the feathered serpent. Lightning path astrology delineates two distinct domains of consciousness within the human psyche. In one domain, symbolized by all planets from the sun out to Saturn, we encounter aspects of life over which we possess a degree of control on both personal and social collective levels. In contrast, the other domain resides entirely beyond our control, and its primary astrological significators are the trio of planets Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, poetically referred to by Rudhyar as ambassadors of the galaxy. A relatively recent discovery, the planetoid Chiron, found in 1977, travels along an elliptical orbit positioned between Saturn and Uranus. Chiron serves as a psychological bridge between these two distinct domains of consciousness. Focused on the polarity between control, Saturn, and freedom, Uranus, lightning path astrology delves deeply into Chiron's domain of divination, wisdom, and healing in order to find tools enabling the harmonious integration within ourselves of these fundamental principles. In the manner of the mythological Greek god Chiron, who guided other deities toward their highest spiritual callings, astrological Chiron acts as a guide, leading us into realms of consciousness that extend beyond the boundaries of our ordinary understanding. This transformative process begins when we choose to embark on the journey in consciousness Chiron lays before us. From that moment onward, we become engaged in a gradual, step-by-step process of expanding awareness. This approach to self-transformation stands in sharp contrast to, I'm sorry, I can't see that bottom line. Oh, well, onward. A graphic representation of this trio of planets, realm of Saturn, from the sun out to Saturn represents a domain where control is generally possible and inevitable. When we hit Chiron, we have a piercing of that boundary condition into a much vaster domain of consciousness. And that is initially symbolized by Uranus. So we have the Saturnian individual connecting through his or her wound, which is really what the realm of Chiron is about, the wound of incarnation. Once we accept that we are under the control of forces larger than ourselves, we're prepared to be able to pierce beyond the veil and go into that more expanded realm, that Uranian realm, often as a sudden transformation. So an integrative chart brought forth by Gurdjieff, where we have this notion of the ego, the self, and the essence. This is a journey in consciousness, beginning in Saturn as the starting point for the development of the ego, and into Chiron, which is ultimately our higher self, overarching the Saturnian domain, but leading on to a more transcendent realm of essence. So in a sense, the journey of life is this from ego to essence, when we're referring to consciousness as our item of interest. The terms ego, self, and essence are distinct concepts that describe different aspects of human consciousness and identity. Following is a brief overview of how these terms are distinguished on the lightning path. So ego. The ego is the individualized sense of self that is tied to the material world. It is characterized by attachments, desires, fears, and a sense of separateness. The ego serves the purpose of navigating and interacting with the physical reality. However, it is also seen as a source of limitations, suffering, and illusions. The self refers to the true identity beyond the ego. It is the unchanging and eternal aspect of an individual that is connected to a higher source or divine consciousness. Realizing the true self involves transcending the egoic self, letting go of attachments, and surrendering to a higher state of awareness. It is associated with qualities such as love, compassion, and inner peace. When it comes to essence, essence is much like the self and is considered the timeless and immutable nature of one's being. It represents the pure consciousness that underlies and transcends the temporary weakness, the temporary experiences of the material world. Recognizing and connecting with one's essence is seen as a pathway to spiritual liberation. It involves letting go of the ego's attachments and aligning with the higher divine aspect of one's existence. So when it comes to visualizing these concepts, the natal birth chart is a primary tool. In the birth chart, we find the mandala, the symbol of the self. And through the study of this mandala, we can understand the unfolding pattern of an individual's destiny. This is our fundamental orientation taken up when we enter the domain of our natal birth chart. There's a pattern of symbols that connect, and it's our work to understand those connections and thereby fulfill our mission as a self. So this is our fundamental orientation astrologically. To the left, we have the axis of consciousness from left to right. And this is also the axis that ties us directly and symbolically to the Sphinx, the Egyptian Sphinx, which is also oriented due east to due west. And with the lightning path astrology, the vertical axis is seen to connect to galactic center, or what the Maya call the Hunab Ku. This is the galactic center point that the whole of our solar system is in harmony with, and is in fact controlled by. The axis of power. Poetically, we hear from the Feathered Serpent, I am Quetzalcoatl, I am the Star Serpent, I am the dream of man, soaring in eternal flight. I am thy soul, O brother, I am the love that guides the light. Under Chiron's guidance, we learn valuable lessons about conscious living and conscious dying. An activated Chiron within our psyches prompts us to closely observe synchronicities, which inevitably unveil broader patterns of harmony and purpose that extend beyond our more limited Saturnian frames of reference. These synchronistic patterns offer expanded frameworks of meaning from which we can divine appropriate courses of action in the future, Coupled with a mindful review of past actions, this process can lead to a greater personal sovereignty, independence, and authenticity in our lives. by helping us release attitudes, places, or people that hinder our progress toward greater personal sovereignty, independence, and authenticity. Chiron guides us toward the gradual activation of our expanded Uranian potential. In my own journey of consciousness, this expanded potential has gradually revealed itself to be entwined with the myth of the feathered serpent, a profoundly illuminating spiritual archetype that has held prominence in Mesoamerica for centuries. This book by Lorette Sejourne, Burning Water, Thought and Religion in Ancient Mexico, is a real foundation work for anyone wishing to explore the mythology of the feathered serpent. It was in 1972 at an intersection of astrology and mythology that I first encountered the enigmatic figure of Quetzalcoatl, known throughout Mesoamerica under a variety of names, including Kukulkan and feathered serpent. As described by Lorette Sejourne in her book Burning Water, Thought and Religion in Ancient Mexico, Quetzalcoatl is the bright guide of interior reflection, carrying within himself a mysterious spiritual spark that possesses the unique ability to ignite a civilization, an essence that transcends mere intellectual analysis. Well, since 1972, my spiritual journey has engaged me in a quest to transcend the limitations of my own intellectual engagement with the myth of Quetzalcoatl. To aid in achievement of this aspiration, I began the daily practice of maintaining a simple astro-mythological journal, specifically grounded in attunement to the ever-changing phases of the moon and how they interfaced with my natal birth chart. This practice has been instrumental to my personal growth, and I highly recommend it as a daily practice. Another quote from Lorette Sejourne: "Because he belongs equally to the dark abyss and the celestial splendor, man is the meeting ground of opposing principles, which die in isolation when they are removed from it. The plumed serpent, being the image of the consciousness of this creative duality, is the key image in the Nahuatl religion." When it comes to humanistic astrology, we have a quote here from Michael Meyer, who wrote the handbook of the humanistic astrology. "Astrological study should be a process that commences with the development of the mental faculties, both concrete and abstract, and is completed when its primary purpose is accomplished, the transformation of the individual into something more. This something more has the characteristic of transcending duality through the reconciliation and synthesis of opposites." So I found it really interesting that the cover of Michael Mayer's handbook for the humanistic astrology shows this spiral, which is very, very resonant with the spiral on the head of the feathered serpent here at Teotihuacan, Mexico. Michael's contemporary explication of the tools available to us through humanistic astrology, how resonant they are to the ancient tradition of the Mesoamerican myth of the feathered serpent. Now, the lunation cycle, brought forth by Rudhyar, really acts in accord with this notion of transcending duality. The whole, as Rudhyar puts it, the relationship of the sun to the moon refers to the very essence of life. And it does so in a way that guides us into transformation and the overcoming of the limits of duality. The true message of the lunation cycle. This is the true message of the lunation cycle, that through man and nature, that though man and nature are buffeted by the storms raging through this world of duality and pain, of passion and sorrow, yet there is in every individual the power to meet these storms with understanding, with courage, and with faith, and meeting them to rise from the darkness of unconscious instinct to the light of conscious intelligence, from the possessiveness of sex to the bestowal of love, from the blindness of pride and war to the lucidity of cooperation and peace. So the lunation cycle, this is the full mandala, and the image on the right shows the inner structure of that cycle. 8 sectors, and each sector has its own qualitative dimension. And when we engage with the lunation cycle, we're engaging with a process that reveals itself over time. And this is one reason why the Lightning Path New Moon Zoom calls are timed to coincide with the new moon point of the complete lunation cycle. We're working with the conscious harmony with the balance of these fundamental principles, sun and moon, light and dark. The inner structure of the lunation cycle, as shown at right, can be applied to any cycle of relationship to reveal predictable stages of unfoldment of that relationship. This makes of the lunation cycle a veritable key to all worlds. When this key is applied to one's birth chart, determination can be made of the phase of the moon at which one was born. This is known as one's lunation birthday. And this is the fundamental reference point in the whole of the Lightning Path astrology work that we do. In revealing to us the inner structure of the lunation cycle, Dane Rudhyar personalized significant philosophical considerations. These include revelation of the importance of the angular relationship between sun and moon, as viewed from Earth, at the very moment of a person's first breath. According to Rudhyar, this triadic relationship determines for that person a lunation birthday, which reappears every 29.5 days. Rudhyar affirmed that during each such monthly return, a person, whether they are conscious of it or not, is resonantly infused with subtle, life-affirming energy and information, a process that can be made conscious by simply paying attention to the changing phases of the moon. And that's what my journaling practice facilitated. Now, in terms of determining the lunation birthday, what is the technique? Well, you can do it freely online. One source of astrological calculation is the astroseek.com. First of all, we need to establish a free account. Once you're registered, sign into your account, locate the chart calculator, and enter your data. From the extended settings panel below data entry panels, choose House System 0 Aries, then click Calculate Chart. Now this 0 Aries indication is important to Lightning Path astrology because this is what ties us into the fundamental mandala that I showed previously. So just to keep things consistent, we're always going with the 0 Aries as the name of the chart, and it implies that we're beginning at that 0 Aries point in progressing around the circle of the horoscope. Other house systems do it. We'll place all the planets in different positions, but we're going for this 0 Aries orientation. So step 3, take a note of the zodiacal position of the sun, moon, and lunation birthday. These are all provided here by AstroSeek. And from that trio, we can see that when we go to the inner structure of the lunation cycle for the chart that's represented here, which I believe was my own, yes, we see that I was born in the waxing crescent sector of the lunation cycle. So this implies that as an individual, I would be very much at home being in activating the capacity to expand consciousness. We see expansion, dynamic impetus, challenge from outside. So this is the metaphorically, this is the sprouting time of the cycle. If we take this whole cycle as the journey of the seed goes into the soil at new moon. And by the time we get to my phase of birth, that's the sprout pushing up through the soil and overcoming obstacles and bringing in the new with some kind of force. So if you are interested in exploring your own lunation birthday, I highly recommend these 2 books, The Lunation Cycle by Rudhyar and The Phases of the Moon by a trio of astrologers. And these are fundamental to understanding this whole realm of the lunation birthday. For example, this is or someone born at phase 13. The Phases of the Moon book gives you a whole page right up on the nature of that sector and of what it's like to be living in resonant harmony with that aspect of self. It also gives us the out of phase conditions that inevitably occur, and thereby it helps us to navigate our way through the dark times associated with any particular phase. And they do a really good job of that as far as I'm concerned. So the Lunation Journal. I became aware of my own lunation birthday in 1972, and soon thereafter I took to heart Rudhyar's encouragement to begin to think and feel in terms of relatedness and of individualized wholeness. Illumined by Rudhyar's wisdom, I created for myself a daily lunation journal as a practical way of sustaining my attunement to the lunation cycle in general and to my lunation birthday in particular. This form of journaling also served to bring my multidisciplinary research into a common focus, which lunation step by lunation step led quite naturally to development of the cyclic holistic worldview I hold today. Now, 50 years since inception, I continue to journal by the phases of the moon, and as a gesture of support to other seekers interested in working in such a highly focused and journaling manner, I offer on my Lightning Path website a free downloadable lunation journal template designed in an 8.5 by 11 inch format, which works really well with a 3-ring binder, which is what I use. There are 8 distinct sections to the lunation journal, each describing a different stage of the overarching developmental process mapped by the lunation cycle. Each distinct new moon to new moon cycle is afforded its own 8 pages, and journaling for that lunation begins at new moon. The actual contents of the journal from then on depend entirely on the journalist, and if more than 8 pages are needed, these can be easily added, especially if one uses a 3-ring binder. It is standard practice on the lightning path to take note of and to contemplate the exact zodiacal degree of the new moon and how it relates to one's natal birth chart. Also, it is standard practice to note the dates of the 4 main turning points of a complete moon cycle: new, first quarter, full, last quarter, and last quarter. With this knowledge, one can derive an intuitive sense of timing for that particular cycle. For those persons desiring more detail, one can turn to the World Wide Web, where is to be found a plethora of calendrical programs that provide not only exact timing signatures for each moon phase, but also visual representations of them. Now, lunation journaling as a spiritual practice. 1. Cycles of self-reflection. A lunation journal, which involves documenting personal experiences, dreams, and reflections in alignment with the lunar phases, can be seen as a continuous narrative of one's inner world. It allows individuals to track their emotional and psychological patterns over time. When combined with the natal birth chart mandala, it becomes a dynamic journey of self-awareness that synchronizes with the natural rhythm of the moon's cycles. 2. Embracing change and growth. The lunar phases symbolize the cyclical nature of life, with the new moon signifying beginnings and the full moon representing culmination and release. When connected to the birth chart mandala, this perspective emphasizes that personal growth and transformation are not linear, but follow a cyclical pattern. The birth chart represents the potential and traits an individual is born with, while the lunation journal captures how these potentials evolve and manifest through life's phases. 3. Personal archetypes. Just as the birth chart contains planetary archetypes that describe aspects of one's personality, the lunar phases also carry archetypal meanings. The new moon may be associated with initiation and intention setting, while the full moon might signify awareness and completion. Integrating these archetypes offers a more comprehensive understanding of how an individual's selfhood unfolds within the larger context of life cycles. 4. Synchronicity and integration. The lunation journal and birth chart mandala provide a means of recognizing synchronicities between one's inner experiences and outer events. These synchronicities can highlight significant moments of personal growth and transformation. For instance, a new moon in a specific sign might trigger a new beginning related to a planetary aspect in the birth chart. 5. Alignment with cosmic rhythms. Combining the lunar phases with the birth chart mandala encourages individuals to align their personal growth and self-discovery with the larger cosmic rhythms. It emphasizes the idea that one's journey is not isolated, but part of the grand cosmic dance, where the moon's phases act as a guiding rhythm. 6. Practical self-integration. The practice of keeping a journal, a lunation journal, alongside the birth chart mandala is a practical approach to inner work. It provides a structured and tangible method for integrating personal experiences with astrological insights. This combination encourages individuals to actively engage in their own growth and self-realization. The unification of a lunation journal and a natal birth chart creates a comprehensive framework for self-exploration, emphasizing the cyclic nature of personal development and the intricate interplay between celestial and individual archetypes. This unified approach encourages individuals to embrace change, recognize meaningful coincidences, and align their personal journey to cosmic forces. Now, for a peek into related journaling practices, this book, At a Journal Workshop by Ira Progoff, demonstrates the full application of journaling to one's life, one's inner life in particular. And from his extensive model of journaling, we get the following recommended practices. In my research about journaling practices in general, I came across the concept of intensive journaling developed by American psychotherapist Ira Progoff. Following is a list of suggested journal-related practices drawn from his work that you may find helpful in exploring your own journaling practice, should you be so inclined. First, life history. Begin by creating a life history, a chronological account of your life, helping you gain perspective on your past. Daily logs. Maintain a daily log to record events, thoughts, and feelings. This provides a regular outlet for self-expression. 3, dialogue. Engage in a dialogue with various aspects of your life, such as people, events, or inner conflicts, to gain deeper insights. So once again, this is all about inner work. Number 4, dreams and imagery. Explore dreams and imagery through journaling to tap into your subconscious and uncover hidden meanings. Stepping stones. Identify significant life events and moments which act as stepping stones in your personal development. Cycles of growth. Reflect on recurring patterns and themes in your life to understand your personal growth process. Depth contact. Encourage a deeper connection with your inner self and unconscious through journaling. Now, Mr. Progoff also takes us into the realm of the shadow and some recommendations here as to how to embrace the shadow. Engagement with the practice of lunation journaling puts a person into a self-discovery and personal growth mode that can be a powerful impetus to inner exploration. And like any other personal growth endeavor, there will be shadow issues to be dealt with. Mr. Progoff highlights some of these issues in the following list. Privacy. Protect your journal's privacy. Store it in a secure place to prevent unauthorized access, as your journal can contain personal and sensitive information. Content sharing. Be cautious about sharing your journal entries with others. Respect the privacy of your thoughts and feelings, unless you're comfortable sharing. Self-criticism. Avoid being overly critical of yourself. Journaling is about self-reflection and growth, not self-judgment. Dependence. Don't use journaling as a sole means of coping with serious emotional issues. If you need professional help, seek therapy or counseling. And finally, obsession. Be mindful not to become obsessed with journaling. It should be a healthy practice, not a compulsion. Negativity. While it's okay to express negative emotions, try not to dwell on them excessively. Balance your entries with positive thoughts and solutions. Overthinking. Don't overanalyze every entry. Let your thoughts flow naturally without getting caught up in perfectionism. Comparisons. Avoid comparing your journal to others. Your journal is a personal tool, and it's unique to your experiences and needs. Consistency. Don't feel pressured to journal every day. It's about quality, not quantity. Write when it feels right for you. Burnout. Don't push yourself to journal if you're not in the mood. Taking breaks is fine and can help prevent burnout. So in summary, a lunation journaling practice provides a pragmatic method for seamlessly integrating a wide range of interdisciplinary studies, while also preserving a chronological account of personal memories, dreams, and reflections. A significant to this practice is its ability to foster ongoing awareness of the integration of lunation cycle, zodiac, and Tzolkin, that is the collective wellspring of power for all lightning path practitioners. This integrated lightning path perspective fosters a profound connection between evolving lunar cycles and one's natal birth chart, mandalic symbol of one's celestial selfhood. As a spiritual practice, lunation journaling is a practical means of maintaining this connection on a day-to-day basis. The Sabian symbols, another very vital tool in the lightning path toolkit. The Sabian symbols are a set of 360 symbolic images or phrases associated with each degree of the zodiac. They were developed by astrologer Mark Edmund Jones and psychic Elsie Wheeler in the 1920s and are used as a tool for divination and interpretation in astrology. The Sabian symbols are designed to offer deeper insights into the meaning and significance of specific degrees in an astrological chart, helping astrologers and individuals gain a more profound understanding of the symbols and themes at play in their lives. The Sabian symbols are considered a form of dynamic astrology. They consist of 360 unique images or phrases and corresponding to a specific degree of the 360 zodiac wheel. These symbols are often abstract or archetypal and can be interpreted subjectively by astrologers or individuals. They are meant to provide additional layers of meaning and insight beyond the traditional astrological interpretations of signs, planets, and aspects. The primary purpose of the Sabian symbols is to enhance the depth and richness of astrological readings. Astrologers use them to offer more nuanced and personalized insights into clients or to deepen their own understanding of an individual's birth chart. These symbols can shed light on personal and universal themes, as well as the potential challenges and opportunities that may arise at specific degrees of the zodiac. They are often seen as a tool for meditation, contemplation, and divination, allowing individuals to connect with the symbolic language of astrology on a deeper level. And the edition of the Sabian symbols shown here is that by Mark Edmund Jones, and this is a quote from the publisher. Through these symbols, the imagination is provided with exciting and detailed insight into the significance and nature of almost any human situation or relationship. In 1974, Dane Rudhyar released his definitive version of the Sabian symbols, presenting them as a contemporary American I Ching, which many of you will be aware of. The Chinese Book of Changes, considered to be the most ancient book of wisdom in the world. So the Rudhyar's astrological mandala consolidates these 360 symbols and provides place where he could share his wisdom in conjunction with the symbology. And this is what he has to say about it in general. We are dealing here with a significant process of gradual and purposeful transformation. The symbols enable us to get a new perspective on the interrelated phases of this vast process of existence, the keynote of which is indeed transformation. Now, the Sabian symbols online, there's some great websites. These are two of them. I'm aware of at least two websites featuring the Sabian symbols. Linda Hill's site at www.sabiansymbols.com is basically an online version of her 1995 book titled The Sabian Symbols as an Oracle. Over at jamesburgess.com, we find a very robust multimedia presentation of the Sabian symbols created by James Burgess. In addition to his own wise commentary, the site includes interpretive imagery by Ruby Fumiziki and direct quotes of interpretations provided by both Mark Edmund Jones and Dane Rudhyar. So this site is probably the most comprehensive convergence of all things Sabian symbol. Mr. Burgess has done a wonderful job of bringing this all together. So just to give you an insight into what it's like to work with Mr. Burgess's site, you go there to www.jamesburgess.com and locate the Sabian calculator. And by inputting your birth data, the website will produce a list of all of the Sabian symbols that correspond to the planets in your chart. And for each of those indications, you have a wisdom quote, or a series of wisdom quotes, and the images by his associate, Ruth. And this is really a consolidation of wisdom and very penetrating in his insights. Now, the I Ching. I Ching, also known as the Book of Changes, is an ancient Chinese divination text that holds profound wisdom about the dynamics of life and the principles that govern change and harmony. I Ching serves as a unique oracle, offering guidance and understanding in various aspects of life. It can be particularly helpful when we face important decisions, uncertainties, or times of personal growth. By tapping into its symbolic language and hexagrams, these are the 6-line structures that make up the component of the reading. By tapping into its symbolic language and hexagrams, we gain valuable insights that can help us navigate challenges with wisdom and clarity. Even though the I Ching is ancient, its wisdom remains relevant in our modern world. It provides timeless perspectives and ways to better understanding the flow of life, thereby helping us gain deeper self-awareness and guidance towards, and I can't see the rest of it, but a fuller life indeed. Now, the lightning path, in association with the IA service, the Chat GPT, and also with the more visually oriented deep dream generator, I've created a lightning path I Ching, which is made available on my website for free. And it's there for your use. Now, the I Ching and Earth Ascending, the title of this slide. José Argüelles and Dane Rudhyar were good buddies back in the 70s. And I got onto both of them in that early period. And when came to be 1985, 86, I found that my work with José and my work with Rudhyar converged. And it was primarily through this particular book, the I Ching, or the Earth Ascending by Argüelles. Numerous writings by José Argüelles, especially his groundbreaking book, Earth Ascending, have had an enduring impact on my own understanding of the I Ching. In that book, Argüelles formulated what he calls a holonomic model of knowledge. The I Ching plays a central role in that model, and following is a summary of some of the ways the I Ching contributes to it. So this is now taking us into a much deeper realm of working with the I Ching, not only on a personal basis, but as a collective phenomenon. So number one, synchronicity and universal order. Argüelles believed in the existence of a universal order that connects all things in the cosmos. He saw the I Ching as a tool to access and understand this order through the concept of synchronicity. In his view, the I Ching could help individuals discern the meaningful connections between their inner experiences and the external world. Number two, hexagram energy. Argüelles associated each hexagram in the I Ching with a specific type of energy or archetype. He suggested that these hexagrams represent different aspects of the cosmic order and can be applied to personal and collective situations. By consulting the hexagrams, individuals could gain insights into various life events and challenges. Three, timekeeping and harmonic resonance. Argüelles integrated the I Ching with his concept of harmonic resonance and the Tzolkin calendar. He believed that the hexagrams could be used to decode the harmonic frequencies of time, and that their wisdom could be applied to live in harmony with natural cycles and cosmic forces. Planetary harmonics. Argüelles extended the use of the I Ching to understand the harmonics of the planets and celestial bodies. He suggested that the hexagrams could be used to decode the energies and influences of celestial events and planetary alignments. This perspective tied into his overall model of the universe and its interconnected energies. Number five, evolution and consciousness. Argüelles saw the I Ching as a guide for human evolution and the expansion of human consciousness. By aligning with the wisdom of the I Ching, individuals could make choices that support their personal growth and contribute to the collective evolution of humanity. And finally, number six, the global harmonic convergence. Argüelles promoted the idea of a harmonic convergence in 1987, a global event inspired by his reading of the Mayan calendar, and one in which I participated wholeheartedly. Now, the chakras, the human light body. Eastern yogic systems teach that an axis of 7 distinct psychic centers is vertically aligned with the spine of the human body. These centers are referred to as chakras, and in similar Mayan yoga traditions, they are called chakras. Each chakra refers to one of 7 powers of light. As nodes of activity for the reception, assimilation, and transmission of multidimensional energy and information, the chakras can be referenced to specific yoga paths and particular practices. At the base of the chakra axis is located what is commonly known as the root chakra. This is our most primary connection point to the material world, and it is here that we find hatha yoga, the yoga of physical postures, or asanas. With this type of yoga, the inner work centers on purifying the body by directly addressing its most primal hungers, drives, and fears. In Mayan yoga practice, the root chakra is seen as our cosmic vibratory root, a primordial unifying vibration represented mathematically as a single dot. According to Mayan elder Hunbat's men, this vibratory root is thought to be a form of solar energy referred to as Kultan Lilni, or body lightning. Kultan Lilni corresponds to our most primal connection to the earth and constitutes the initial venturesomeness that initiates any process of manifestation. In esoteric yoga systems of the East, Kultan Lilni is known by the similar name Kundalini, meaning serpent power. Like the Maya, Eastern yoga traditions indicate that this latent power resides at the base of the spine like a sleeping serpent until aroused, at which time it begins to ascend the chakra tree, gradually purifying each chakra. This purification process can be very arduous and is sometimes painful and dangerous for the practitioner. It requires a deep commitment to inner work in order to be successful. Success comes as progressively greater and greater self-realization is achieved, culminating in attainment of what visionary yogi Sri Aurobindo calls a mind of light, or what in some Tibetan Buddhist traditions is referred to as the rainbow body. Such attainment implies that the serpent power has not only become aroused, but that it has been given wings, thus evoking the image of feathered serpent, long the Mesoamerican icon of such an enlightened state of being. Tantra yoga is the yoga of the second chakra. It goes beyond basic physicality to teach us how to master our instinctual and emotional natures, especially as these relate to our desires. This includes the very important task of determining how best to channel our vital sexual energy into an authentic way of life that harmoniously unites creation, or Shakti, and consciousness, Shiva. Now, at the third chakra, we encounter karma yoga, the yoga of action. This yogic practice focuses on the gradual purification and removal of selfish and egotistical limitations through the cultivation of generosity. Karma yoga is the yoga of doing whatever needs to be done, regardless of what our selfish desires would have us do or refuse to do. It is referred to by many as the science of achieving perfection in action. Bhakti yoga, the yoga of the fourth or heart chakra, expands awareness into the realm of pure devotion, or bhakti, the natural generosity of spirit inherent in human nature. All actions become motivated by feelings of altruism, devotion, and goodwill. The development of a compassionate, witnessing consciousness, unattached to outcome, and thus able to act freely in all situations, is the central intent of this yoga. The fifth chakra is located near the throat and deals with all manner of self-expression, communication, and mental spiritual development. It corresponds to mantra yoga, which involves the chanting of sacred sounds or mantras and phrases until mind and emotions are transcended and the superconscious is clearly revealed and experienced. In Eastern yoga traditions, a distinct mantra exists for each of the 7 chakras. At the 6th or brow chakra, we encounter yantra yoga, which focuses the mind through the use of mystical diagrams or meditation symbols called yantras. Astrology, with its many circular mandalas, is included in this group. The general aim of this yoga is to develop our capacity to understand the world objectively. And I can't see the rest, I'm sorry. The 7th chakra, orients us to our deepest destiny, and thus refers to all manner of shamanic activity and depth exploration of the psyche. It corresponds to what is often referred to as the crown chakra, the all-inclusive seat of divine intelligence and bliss, the bliss that naturally arises through revelation of one's sovereign and authentic place within the human family. At the seventh chakra location, we have jnana yoga, the path of knowledge through inquiry and meditation. Jnana yoga embraces all other yogas and integrates them into a unity through abstract intellectual understanding. Jnana carries with it the qualities associated with number 7: synthesis, coordination, hidden direction, and mystical power. On the lightning path, the mathematical pattern created by number 7 combines with the 20 hieroglyphs of the Mayan Tzolkin calendar to produce 20 temples of birth, one example of which is shown at right. One's temple of birth is determined astrologically using what is called the Book of Electrum, a compendium of moon cycle data linking individual moon cycles to the sacred Tzolkin calendar of the ancient Mayan civilization. So we see here how number 7 coordinates the other 12 numbers into a pyramid of sorts. That is the solo coordinating function of that number. And this temple of mirrors that we see on the right, this is the could be considered a birthright of symbology that is awaiting each one of us. And the way to become aware of it is to go into the astrology, do the calculations, and the symbols that are specific to your birth pattern will arise and are consolidated into this particular kind of image. Referring again to Earth ascending, the general planetary significance of the recognition of the chakras as an innate characteristic of the species is that it provides a base for a universal system of human harmonics. The energy which is harmonized corresponds to a field in which the human body is contained, much as the contents of the embryo are contained within the placenta. This is the auric field, or field of consciousness. Accordingly, man, in his present state, is potentially ready to activate this field, but the energies necessary for this activation lie dormant, or at best are only randomly and haphazardly aroused, and then very often to the detriment of the organism. When the chakras are consciously activated, the individual becomes the center of a dynamic, ongoing, self-integrated mandala. And this is where the birth chart becomes so important as an ongoing reference point, a mandalic reference point for all of the inner work that we might choose to do. In accord with Argüelles' notion of the conscious activation of one's latent chakra potentials, I have developed what I call the light body activation template, a comprehensive integration of the chakra model. So it integrates the chakra model, one's natal birth chart, the Tzolkin calendar of the Maya, and the I Ching. In aid of contemplation and understanding of this synthesis of diverse components, the light body activation template can be artistically rendered as we see above. This is very unique to my birth pattern imagery. And each one of us has in potential the same kind of overarching image for the work. The Tzolkin. The Mayan Tzolkin calendar, also known as the Sacred Round or the Divine Calendar, is an ancient Mesoamerican calendar system that continues to hold significance in the modern era. Spiritual and cultural connection. For many individuals, particularly those with Mayan heritage, the Tzolkin calendar remains a vital aspect of their spiritual and cultural identity. It serves as a way to connect with their ancestral roots and maintain a sense of continuity with their cultural heritage. Divination and guidance. The Tzolkin calendar is often employed for divinatory and guidance purposes. Modern practitioners, including shamans and spiritual guides, use the calendar's energies and cycles to offer insights, advice, and predictions. The Tzolkin's 260-day cycle is believed to have a unique energy associated with each day, and this energy is consulted for decision-making and understanding life events. Personal growth and self-discovery. Some people use the Tzolkin as a tool for personal growth and self-discovery. They explore its cycles and energies to gain a deeper understanding of themselves, their life path, and their purpose. It can serve as a framework for reflection and self-improvement. Harmony with nature. The Tzolkin calendar is closely tied to natural cycles such as agriculture and celestial events. In fact, there are 18 or 19 different calendars deployed by the Maya. In modern life, it can be a reminder of the interconnectedness of humanity with nature. It encourages a harmonious relationship with the environment and a recognition of the cyclical patterns in the world. Mayan calendar systems and prophecy. Some individuals and groups have associated the Tzolkin calendar with prophecies and predictions, often related to significant global events or shifts in consciousness. These interpretations vary widely, but they contribute to the ongoing fascination and discussion about the Mayan calendar in modern life. Educational and cultural preservation. Cultural preservation. The study and use of the Tzolkin calendar are important for the preservation of Mayan culture and knowledge. It is a source of academic research, and its continued use helps ensure that the calendar's wisdom is passed down to future generations. Tourism and cultural exchange. In regions where Mayan culture is prevalent, such as parts of Mexico and Central America, the Tzolkin calendar plays a role in tourism and cultural exchange. Visitors often have the opportunity to learn about the calendar and its significance through cultural experiences and guided tours. In summary, the Mayan Tzolkin calendar has evolved and found relevance in modern life in various ways. It serves as a cultural touchstone, tool for spiritual and personal development, a reminder of our connection to nature, and a source of academic study and discussion. Whether used for personal growth or cultural preservation, it continues to hold a place of significance for many individuals and communities. Excuse me. Returning again to José Argüelles, in his books Earth Ascending and The Mayan Factor, New Age author, artist, and visionary José Argüelles made extensive use of the basic Tzolkin grid as what he called a universally applicable harmonic module that can be understood and utilized on different scales, from individual daily experiences to larger cosmic cycles. This interpretation encourages individuals to recognize patterns in their lives and the world around them, fostering a deeper connection to the cosmic order and a more profound understanding of time. Argüelles facilitated a unique interpretation of the Mayan Tzolkin and its application to modern life. He called this approach the dream spell and spent the last years of his life disseminating that model worldwide. Following is a brief overview of some of the ways Argüelles used the Tzolkin as a tool for the expansion of consciousness. Harmonic resonance. Argüelles introduced the idea of harmonic resonance, which suggests that certain frequencies and cycles in the universe have a harmonizing effect on our lives and consciousness. He believed that understanding and attuning to these harmonic frequencies could lead to a more balanced and spiritually fulfilling existence. The Tzolkin as a harmonic module. In Earth Ascending, Argüelles presented the Tzolkin calendar as a key to unlocking harmonic resonance. He viewed the 260-day cycle of the Tzolkin as a harmonic module that represents a fundamental unit of time and energy in the universe. Each day in the Tzolkin was associated with a specific energy or archetype. 1320 harmonic frequency. Argüelles introduced a particular harmonic frequency he called 1320. The 1320 frequency is based on the combination of the 13 numbers in the Tzolkin and the 20 day signs. He argued that this frequency underlies the natural order of the universe and that it has been distorted and disrupted in modern life, leading to disharmony and balance. So, speaking more specifically to its application in modern life, Argüelles proposed that by attuning oneself to the 1320 harmonic frequency through the Tzolkin, individuals could align with a more harmonious and spiritually fulfilling way of life. This involves living in rhythm with the Tzolkin, paying attention to the specific energies of each day, and following its guidance for daily activities and meditation. And this is exactly the approach that we've taken with the lightning path. Now, the difference is that the lightning path is on a different scale than a day-to-day Tzolkin journey. Rather than one day per sector, the lightning path works with, works with one lunation cycle per sector. So it's a much larger cycle, but basically, fundamentally, operating according to the same rhythm. Now, the global harmonic convergence we spoke of earlier. This was Argüelles taking his wisdom out into the community and attempting to apply it in a vast planetary way. And it was quite successful at the time. Harmonic convergence was a pretty big deal back in 86, 87. $13.20 time. How do we attune to it? On the lightning path, we dive in, and as I say, we take a journey in consciousness, one lunation cycle at a time. A new sector of the grid is activated. Now, this particular image, when I first received the revelation, I guess, of the lunation cycle connection to the Tzolkin, it was a completely transformative event for me. And in the moment of revelation, this was one of the images that came to me, this yellow submarine, along with a phrase which was, picture yourself in a boat on a time beam with pulsating people whose lives are divine. And you may pick up on the resonance with the Beatles song. So the Mayan Tzolkin is the yellow submarine's fractal mythological rudder. Each combination of Tzolkin number and glyph corresponds to one lunation cycle, as I've been saying. And each little spiral equates to an individual human life. And the submarine here is just a small group of us, relatively, who are vibing with this 1320 journey. And each of us has our own sovereignty. We come together at new moon, and we go from there out into our lives. And then when the new moon rolls around again, we come back together for a few moments of camaraderie. And all the while, we're expanding consciousness and through resonant attunement to the cycles of nature. And just to indicate the connection here, the lightning path is named that because when we use the Tzolkin in this particular way, 260 lunation cycles takes 84 years to unfold. It just turns out that 84 years is exactly the orbit of planet Uranus around the sun. So here we have a direct linkage between our lightning path lunation journey and this much larger frame of reference that ties us into the orbit of Uranus. And Uranus is often associated with transformation, sudden transformation, lightning, thunder. So that was why I came up with the notation lightning path, in case you were wondering. So global manifestation of the mythic presence of Feathered Serpent. This is ultimately at the core of this whole venture of the lightning path. And the new technology, the information technology that we're using to be in touch on a regular basis it's new. It's a frontier, and it's moving us deeper and deeper into this global civilization that requires of us a whole new orientation if we're going to successfully manage our way through the changes that inevitably are coming. And I believe that the myth of the feathered serpent is returning as an aid to humanity in that process. When it comes to the mythic presence of the feathered serpent, I will refer you to the trucker convoy that occurred here in Canada in 2021, and which became a global phenomena overnight, virtually. So that by January 29th, 2022, we have the trucker convoy and the feathered serpent. As far as I'm concerned, this the emergence of the Freedom Convoy is a significant is a signal for us that the feathered serpent is alive and well and evolving on planet Earth. The whole convoy experience was based in love, acceptance, and people held the line and did not go into the violence, whereas the government under Trudeau chose to use force, and so we have that interface of freedom and control. But the truckers and their whole citizenry were pristine in maintaining peace and just bring their issues forward, but in no way forcing the issue. So where are we now in this new moon attunement journey? Well, a little sketch I did recently. The attunement journey is taking us from collectively the temple of the breath of spirit into the temple of eagles. So these are these successive temples, the 20 temples of the Tzolkin and of the lightning path, and one lunation cycle at a time. Each one is a step on the pyramid, and we're just now exiting one temple and entering a new one. And well, yeah, there's unexpected elements that showed up, and one of which is this the presence of Neptune, which is coming in its orbit around the sun to the zodiacal position of 0 Aries, which is the starting point for the zodiac of signs that we use in astrology. And this is the arrival of Neptune at that particular degree. I'm considering to be of astrological significance, if not significance in other realms as well. That'll all remain to be seen, but it's definitely calling us to the values and the core values associated with Neptune, which is all around compassion, around vision, and around care for each other. So since last new moon, we've been in this particular zone of symbology, one muluk, the gateway to the Temple of Eagles. And when it comes to interpreting the different hieroglyphs, I highly recommend the Mayan Oracle. This is, the number one book in my library regarding understanding not only the numbers and hieroglyphs, but the whole consciousness movement in general, is wrapped up in this particular work. So from that book, we will find keywords for number one, for unity, the single ball or single dot mathematically. And what are those qualities? Unconditional love, one heart, indivisible essence, core vibration, new beginnings, chalice of the infinite, all that is. So this is a very unitive moment. It's one that is primordial. It's a renewal, part of the renewal of a cyclic phenomenon, and we're in it. And when it comes to Muluk, Muluk is the cosmic seed of awakened awareness. Consume it like a fruit and let it blossom within you. You are on the quest of self-remembrance, of God seed. If you work with the energy of Muluk, with clear awareness and attention, an awakened state of remembrance will naturally blossom within you. Remembrance means having direct access to your expanded presence through an intrinsic perception of unity. Remembrance is your recognition of the larger pattern and your connection to it, often facilitated through dreams, art, music, colors, and creative pursuits. With focused attention, meditate on Muluk, and you will receive help with self-remembrance. So that is a quote from the Mayan Oracle. On the note of artistry, this is an image that I created to represent Moloch, and it includes a painting that Teresa and I did together years ago. So the Mayan Oracle is indicating to us that now keywords for the current moment that are relevant: cosmic communication, divine guidance, God seed, beacon, understanding, signals, self-remembrance, signs, awareness, awakened attention, global consciousness. So these keywords align with the keywords for number one to give us a basic array of qualities that we may or may not want to embrace. But it's about sensitizing ourselves to these particular qualities at this time. That's the nature of the work, is to just hold these qualities in mind, and through our artistry, through our creativity, bring them into full manifestation. Barbara Nin's artistry, manifesting an image for the hieroglyph that indicates the Temple of Eagles. So this is the hieroglyph men. We see the interspecies communication going on. Now, there are shadow issues, of course, associated with the Temple of Eagles. And once again, from the Mayan Oracle, one shadow of men is a loss of hope, excitement, or joy in your life. This can stem from a reaction to mass consciousness or from the precipitous state of the world. In your deep desire to effect change, you may feel overwhelmed in a vast ocean of consciousness that seems hopelessly enmeshed in issues of separation, limitation, and judgment. If so, remember that elements of this enormous field are often attracted to your personal dream field for healing. These duality constructs are deeply rooted on the planet, but don't be discouraged. The global mind is in the process of a profound transformation. As you heal these issues within yourself, you offer gifts of healing to the larger reality. Do not underestimate the power of your personal transformation and its effect on planetary mind. Hear, hear. Resources. A summary on how to calculate the natal birth chart, which we went through earlier, for your use, if you want, for free. These are some of the foundation works that I've been working with for these many years. I highly recommend each and every one of them if you're on to the lightning path. And right at the core of my journey, which virtually began in 1972, when I encountered not only José Argüelles, Dane Rudhyar, but also the work of John C. Lilly, MD, who did original research in communicating with dolphins and other cetaceans. But what he wrote in the book, The Center of the Cyclone, is very apropos to this whole quest in consciousness. And that book is based on, in part, in his working with dolphins and being taught by dolphins, in fact. So once again, I highly recommend these books as if you're interested in expanding consciousness along lines that are not really conventional, and even up to this present day. So some more book suggestions, links, all the red. Yeah, leave everything in red is hyperlinked in the PDF that's associated with this video. So if you're using the PDF, they'll take you to the books and the websites associated with the link. A new teacher in my life is Dr. David Hawkins, now deceased, who, as far as I'm concerned, has really gone to the core of the consciousness movement in the present era, and has brought forth some amazing realizations and teachings. So all of these books are available and highly recommended. So we're coming to the close. When we come to the last word, I'm going to give that to the Temple of the Eagles that we're now entering. This is one of 20 invocations that I wrote many years ago. My poetic interpretation of the flow of hieroglyphs and number. They're certainly not the only way these hieroglyphs could be explained or understood, but this is my attempt. So, the Temple of Eagles, an invocation of sovereignty. I remember myself. I'm loyal and faithful to that memory. It reminds me of my inner child, the child innocently open to life's abundance. I am encouraged by angelic messengers to follow my heart. Planetary service is my calling. Mystic transmissions penetrate my soul. I resonate to the pulse of the earth. Clarity abounds as I reunite with solar mastery and unconditional love. With this love, I become a source of new tomorrows. Thank you for your attention, and it's been a pleasure and an honor to share this with you at this particular time, and I wish you well.